I'm Jenny Fusillo with Major League Lacrosse, and today we'll be talking about the reigning champions, the Denver Outlaws, with Evan Washburn. Evan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jenny. Thanks.
So one of the bigger news in the offseason, Evan, was Denver and Lee Zink, the 2013 Defensive Player of the Year and 2014 team captain, announcing his retirement. With his retirement, who will step up in the back?
Well, I think the name that jumps off is Dylan Roy, and you're not going to find a better fan of Lee Zink and what he has been able to do over the course of his career, and really how he became better later in his career. But by the end of last season, he was no longer the best defenseman on his team. In the championship game, the Outlaws decided to put Dylan Roy on Jordan Wolfe because Lee Zink just didn't have the foot speed and struggled with the matchup earlier in the season. So they have the man and the player to not necessarily replace Lee Zink, but take over that role as the top cover man for the Outlaws. And I think Dylan Roy is up to that task. Obviously, there's some other questions around that defense, and Lee Zink was such a big part of it. But I think Dylan Roy provides that organization the comfort to know we have a player existing on our roster that we can put up against the best offensive player of an opposing team.
Now, Denver is also known for making a lot of roster moves and changes in the offseason, and this year was certainly no different. What do you think was the biggest move that they have made?
Well, I think what Denver does is they try and facilitate what's going to work best in a current season. They really live a year by year. And to me, I went and looked back at some of the transactions. Yeah, they've been busy, but the draft was where I was really sort of struck with their ability to get Wes Berg, the attackman, All-American, Tewaaraton candidate out of Denver, as late as they did. And granted, Denver's a top team. They may be playing Memorial Day weekend, so they won't necessarily get Wes Berg for that first 4 games of the season. But I think once he is available, he will play. And I think that's an addition and a transaction, if you will, that I think could be extremely beneficial for this team.
Now, there's also no question about Denver's consistency. They have made the playoffs every year since 2006, but last year was the first chance they had and first time they actually won the whole thing, and only by a goal. So what are you predicting for the 2015 season?
I still like Denver a lot. I think Jesse Schwartzman is playing some of his best lacrosse. But again, they're in that boat of having a lot of indoor players, key indoor players, John Grant Jr., Curtis Dixon. And there's no secret, a lot of Canadians on that team that were motivated to play at a high level because they also wanted to be at a high level for the World Games that were played last summer. So I just think there's some question marks that remain around Denver. I still have them, I think in my preseason poll, I either have them 2 or 3. Can't remember exactly, but they're up there. I think they're in the postseason again, and if they can find the right chemistry, the roles are defined as they were last year, then I think they have every capability of repeating as champions.